Once upon a time, in a quiet garden at the edge of a big meadow, there lived a little hedgehog named Henry. Henry was small and round, with shiny black eyes, tiny paws, and lots of prickly spikes on his back. But even though he had spikes, Henry was very gentle. Henry loved sniffing the flowers by the garden wall. Sniff, sniff, sniff. He loved munching crunchy apples that fell from the trees. Nibble, nibble, nibble. He even loved watching the butterflies flutter past. Flap, flap, flutter. But there was one thing Henry had never done before. He had never rolled into a ball. Now, all the little hedgehogs in the garden loved rolling. They would curl up tight, tucking in their paws and noses, and roll gently down the soft grassy hill. Whee! Squeaked Holly. Whoosh! Giggled Harry. They landed at the bottom in a soft, giggly heap. Henry always watched. His nose twitched. His paws itched. He wanted to try, but he felt a little worried. What if I get stuck? Henry thought. What if I roll too fast? So Henry sat at the top of the hill and just watched his friends. One warm afternoon, the sky was full of fluffy white clouds. The other hedgehogs were tumbling and rolling, their laughter floating up into the air. Henry sighed. His tummy felt fluttery, like tiny butterflies were dancing inside. Just then, Grandpa Hedgehog waddled over. His spikes were grey, and his eyes were kind. "Why so quiet, Henry?" Grandpa asked softly. Henry whispered, "I want to roll, but I'm scared." Grandpa nodded. "Ah, I remember my first roll. I was nervous too." "You were?" Henry asked, his eyes wide. "Oh yes," said Grandpa. "Do you know what helped me?" Henry shook his head. "I looked at the clouds," said Grandpa. "I thought, if the clouds can float and tumble gently across the sky, then I can roll gently too." That evening, Henry lay on the grass and looked up at the sky. The clouds drifted slowly, softly, like pillows floating in the air. "They look so calm," Henry whispered. "Maybe I can roll calmly too." The next morning, Henry took a deep breath and padded to the top of the little hill. The grass was soft. The sun was warm. His friends Holly and Harry waved their paws. "You can do it, Henry," they cheered. Henry's tummy fluttered again. He looked up at the clouds. He thought about Grandpa's words. And then, Henry tucked in his paws. He curled in his nose. He pulled his spikes tight around him. And, roll! Down the hill he went. "Whee!" squeaked Henry. The grass tickled his spikes. The breeze brushed his cheeks. Rumble, tumble, roll. At the bottom, Henry popped his head out and giggled. "I did it! I rolled!" he cried. All the hedgehogs clapped their little paws. "Yay, Henry!" cheered Holly. "See? You're a great roller," said Harry. Grandpa gave a proud nod. The clouds were right. You can tumble too. From that day on, Henry loved rolling. He rolled in the mornings, when the sun was golden. He rolled in the afternoons, when the butterflies fluttered past. And he rolled in the evenings, under the twinkling stars. Every night, before curling up in his cozy little bed of leaves, Henry looked up at the sky and whispered, "Thank you, clouds, for helping me roll." Then he would yawn the biggest hedgehog yawn. Yawn. And drift off into the sweetest dreams. Dreams of rolling, dreams of tumbling, dreams of clouds floating gently by. And from then on, whenever Henry rolled, he always remembered, sometimes being brave is just like watching the clouds. Slow, gentle, and safe.